Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TEW 2020, and it's time for the go-home shows before WCW Bound for Glory 2005. Yes, we're planning on stealing that pay-per-view name from Impact before it exists. But regardless, we start out with Nitro, live from the greatest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, in front of a sold-out crowd at the Reno Event Center. Yeah, we've had to go some second-tier cities because we forgot. Yeah, anyway. The show starts out with a big pop as America's Most Wanted, your current WCW Tag Team Champions, come out. They say they've heard a little discussion, they've heard the scuttlebutt, they've heard the rumors. There's a couple people out there who think that just because we took over Hardy's contracted spots, that we are paper champions. That really, Nikita should have the belts, or hell, because they got screwed out, the Hardys should still be the champions. But here's the thing. We've crawled to the top of this division multiple times. When people said we couldn't beat Air Raid, we did it. People said we weren't on the same level as Hart Legacy, we did it. People said we weren't on the same level of even teams like Storm and Awesome, we did it. 4 times we've been tag champions. 4 times more than anybody else has given it a shot. So if you think we're just going to walk into Bound for Glory and happily hand over our titles to the Hardys just because some of you guys like them more than us, or than KO, because they used to be the tag champs, well, sorry about your damn luck. And cue the Hardys music and says, look, and, Matt takes Mike first and says, look, it's nothing personal. But deep down, we came in here and we won those belts. And we defended those belts. Against you multiple times. And the reality is, you've never beat us. So, at Bound for Glory, we're happy to have the match. We hope Nikita doesn't get involved in ways they shouldn't. But they're not this match too. And the reality is, any champion that goes into a match like this is on the back foot because they can lose those titles without even pinning them. After all, Storm Harris, you could be outside that ring, and I or Jeff could be hitting I could be hitting a twist of fate on Kaz. Hardy could be coming off the top. Jeff could be coming off the top on the Yang for a swanton bomb that he ain't sure and kicking out of. And you're going to stop that? No, you ain't. Like Jeff says, we're the best in the business for a reason. We got the fan support. Skew screaming 14-year-old emo girls. And we know wherever we've gone, we've been the best in the world. You see, we set the standard that teams like you followed up with. And we're glad about that. We're going to remember that we're the best. And then Q and KO coming out with a ski blur and says, it's been interesting hearing you two teams talk about who's the best when you've forgotten something obvious. My men, Nikita, defeated you guys, it's my Hardys. And they would have defeated you guys, you two, if they would have had more than a week ready to this. They're the best tag team in the business for a reason. I molded them, with the help of my backers, into the best in the business today. So how about, here's something. How about we have a little preview tonight. My man Kaz, a former U.S. champion, a master of submissions, a man who can kick your head off at a moment's notice, versus anybody of you two teams want to show up in a triple threat match tonight. And, Chris takes him like this, hey, I'll be your Huckleberry. And Jeff says, hey, Kaz, nobody can deny you're a fantastic wrestler. But you've got this woman in your head. And I'll beat it out of you. So there you go. Main event set up. Jeff Hardy versus Kaz versus Chris Harris in the main event in a triple threat match. This gets a 79 because, well, these guys are these guys. But hey, we got the storyline hotter. And this will be a fun little segment as we build everything else up. So, here we go. Looking forward. We then have our opening tag team mixed tag match. And this is how it is. It is a mixed tag, like WWE current date rules, where if a woman gets tagged in, the other woman comes in. And that's sort of how it's first it's booked as a preview as just Reckless and Romeo get in there. And they're basically most of the match. And what actually happens is Roberts hits his Northern Lights 2K1, but Cookie basically comes in and breaks up the pin. The ref Romeo hits a big move and goes for the pin. Tracy breaks it up. Romeo turns around almost on an instinct, but the ref stops him. And, that allows Reckless, to roll over, tag in her, his sister, come in. That allows Cookie to come in. And I don't say it's a cat fight because these two have been trained and are decent. but they're also valets, trying to sort of like hide that fact. So it's a bit catfighty, but also like there's some wrestling, like as like sort of the announcers are shocked. And eventually, like Tracy actually goes for like some sort of like big move, but Cookie turns it into a sort of like a rolling reverse cradle, and then like obviously because it's 2005, probably flashes Tracy's butt in 2005, and picks up the pinfall victory to get the win for her team. This guy actually gets a 61 again because we're also in the Southwest, so these women are more over because they were in the deficit forever. So Tracy gets a 52, Ruckus gets a 64, Romeo gets a 57, Cookie gets a 47, and post match, GTW celebrates to a 34 as we're continuing to build them up. But there you go, solid stuff. And yeah, just a fun little match there. And again, it would be something on the show to build things up, and then we go from there. And then we cut backstage, where we first we get to the announcers say we have this video from earlier tonight, as the Hardys are not Hardys, sorry. Hart Legacy are basically, entering like sort of the backstage area, and as they're like, talking to a random backstage person, boom, somebody attacks them, and like as they're sort of like have their bags, so they're like unsettled. He goes after him. He throws Teddy in sort of like the like one of those sliding doors that's in every arena, and then he like wallops Evan with a few punches before WCW sort of like come in and break things up, and then we sort of see it as Austin Aries, and he backs away, and then in comes Eddy Guerrero, who sort of like just smirks as he puts his arm around Austin and says, "Well, you wanted me to find a partner?" I say, "Well, here's my partner." So there you go, officially for Bound for Glory. See, that's the tag team. Eddy and Austin versus Teddy Hart and Jack Evans. So there we go. 61, not bad considering everything. Yeah, again, I probably should script people, but it's 2005. We still let things roll. And then okay, this is actually really good. So, basically, in comes the whole chosen few: Jeff Jarrett, Sylvie Johnny Vine, and Magnificent Mark Jindrak, and they come in. They're upset. Bishop says, "What's this BS slap? That's about a 4-way match. My man, Mark Jindrak, Magnificent, won. Was supposed to get a TV title match against Ken Anderson. Then we see Teddy Long on the other show, just throwing people in there willy-nilly. What's up, Bischoff?" Bischoff's like, "It's about controversy creates cash." And here's the thing. Jindrak, you never asked for a one-on-one match. You asked for a title match. And guess what? Teddy already talked to me and said he wanted the TV title on pay-per-view. We wanted his men in. And hey, it's a belt for both shows. So he put his men in there, and I was happy to do it. And, basically, like, they, talk, they're upset, and they're about to walk out and say, without one-on-one match, Jindrak shouldn't even compete and risk not getting the win he deserves. And then in walked Ken Anderson with Steve Harris and says, I thought I smelled a little bit of chicken. And Jindrak looked upset. Jeff's like, no. Anderson's like, Bischoff, I'll fight whoever. Because I'm TV champion, and I'm ready to kick ass wherever I go. Kick ass, take names, and walk them dry. But hey, if Jindrak is a little unhappy, a little baby, and can't do it without a one-on-one against me, if he thinks that Shelton Benjamin and Lance Storm are just that much better than him, which, might be true, then fine. He can walk away and throw away his title shot. And Jindrak finally says, no, fine. But, I want a piece of Anderson tonight. And Bischoff thinks, okay, fine. You want to tag? Let's make this interesting. Jarrett, you have somebody who's upset at you. Jindrak, you guys team. Anderson, your tag partner tonight is Sean O'Hare. Make pop for that. And we have our tag match set up for later tonight of O'Hare and Ken Anderson versus Jeff Jarrett and Mark Jindrak. This gets an 87 because all these guys are good. And yeah, Anderson is really good, like, mic skills. So he's getting, like, that rocket push. Even though, like, honestly, he was okay, but I don't know. Anyway, then we have Titus Tomko killing Jerry Lynn in 2 minutes with a chainsaw cutter. Like, this is just a complete squash. Like, the announcers, like, don't even, like, pretend it's work actually anything more than a squash. Like, Jerry Lynn maybe gets, like, 1 or 2 moves right at the start, but Tomko just kills him. This gets a 40. At least we can get the, not over enough ding. Lynn gets a 48. Tomko gets a 48. And just, like, yeah, Lynn just throws around and dies for, his sins. And then post-match, of course, Shane Helms rolls in, takes the mic from the ring announcer, and basically, he cuts promo saying, "See, that's what I'm talking about. You have just witnessed a definition of dismantling, destruction, domination. Oh hell, let's just what all it is. a preview of what's going to happen in Goldberg. Because guess what? After we fooled him last night, Goldberg went to Eric Bischoff and he made the match I wanted. A match against this guy, Titus Tomko, the toughest man in the world. The man who's protected everybody from A to Z. You want to talk about Jay-Z, Kevin Costner. See, a bodyguard needs a bodyguard. Tom Hanks. Hell, he's protected guys like Idi Amin, Japanese prime ministers, kings, queens. If you know them, this guy has stood beside them and helped make sure nobody got in their way. And now, Goldberg, you're going to face reality. You're a myth, held up by a billionaire company now, and back then, and a big company still today. You see, come Bound for Glory, Titus Tomko is going to destroy the legacy of Demand. Streaks, unbeaten runs, whatever. You see, I've led a legacy in my time, but I've never destroyed a legacy. I've never seen a legacy end in front of me. And at Bound for Glory, Titus Tomko is going to make sure you learn what it's like to be truly humbled. You see, I'm not a former world champion for nothing. I'm not the greatest United States champion of all time. And now I've backed him former Titus Tomko, and he is going to tear you apart. And then, out comes Goldberg, like his music hits, but like almost immediately, like lots of officials and even Bischoff's like in front of him, like Bill, wait till Sunday. And he like stares daggers. They seem to just put it over. This gets an 82, solid stuff, and yeah. There you go. Big singles match. Well, Bill Goldberg, Titus Tomko. Obviously, 5 stars. So this gets an 82 as we move forward on the show. And then we cut to a backstage segment as, Kane Anderson's in the ring and Sean O'Haire, not in the ring, sorry, his backstage segment is, in his locker room or the locker room. Sean O'Haire comes in and says, Sean O'Haire, basically asks Anderson, is he ready to get in the ring tonight? And Anderson's like, of course I'm ready. You're talking to the TV champion, the man of the hour, the guy who will walk in and fight with anybody who has the balls to step up. That's just great. We got to take it there and prove the future shock that we're the future of this business. And guys like Jarrett and his buddies like Jindrak, and kind of like, wait, Sean, I got to talk to you about something. And it's like, what? So here's the thing. I got all the respect in the world for you, man. You've done it all. Main evented big shows, world titles, all of it. But let's be honest. Past few months, not been the greatest. Like, you get stuck in feuds with people who don't really matter. And then, like, Anderson's, Jarrett screwed you over. Now you're battling him again. And I was like, what do you say? The reality is, talent, just pure talent, isn't enough. A bunch of conniving, backstabbing jackasses like chosen few. Especially a guy with a silver spoon so far up his ass. It's purely brown, like Jeff Jarrett. And I was just like, okay, yes, I know. And you gotta fight fire with fire, man. You can't just go out there, talk about future shock, and be ready to fight and do it all. No. That hasn't been working for you. You know what's worked for me? Embracing my inner a-hole. Again, begin a-hole to people that deserve it. Not the fans, not random people backstage, but jerks and douchebags like Jarrett and Jindrak. Fight fire with fire, be ready to fight, and don't take it like a little bitch. And O'Haire's like, fine. Tonight, you lead things, and I'll be out. I got Jarrett at Bound for Glory, and I'm going to kick his ass, and you'll have your TV title match. And then it's like, you're damn right. And whether you win or lose, I'm still going to be your television champion, Ken Anderson. Great stuff, 100, because these guys are really good. And honestly, O'Haire, pulled his weight there. Fun stuff, though, because, O'Haire hasn't been at the best 2005. And then we have our random, oh no, why did you get injured? Awesome. Okay, that's actually fine. So this is a 6-man tag, and this is basically just like, it's our pay-per-view preview and throwing in other people because we don't want a bunch of tag matches all of the same match on the show. So we got Kanyon, Chavo in his return match, and Matt Sydal as our Cruiserweight representative versus Mike Awesome, Alex Wright, and Prince Osei. So basically, like, Chavo like just goes immediately after Wright, and like they're gone. Like they don't even we're not really in the ring at all. Kanyon and Awesome have a bit, and then Awesome eventually does this big plancha on Kanyon on the outside, and then they start fighting like around the ringside area. You know, we throw over the ringside table, all that fun stuff. And that leaves like Sydal and Osei to actually wrestle. And they do that, and eventually Sydal hits the shooting star press on Osei, gets the pinfall victory as everybody is fighting. And this gets an 80. And yes, was his way to try to get over some of my cruiserweights? You're right. Unfortunately, Awesome took a knock on his nose at some point. But Sydal got a 68, Chavo got an 81, Kenny got a 96, Osei got a 64, Wright gets an 87, Jesus. Mike Awesome gets a 90. Fun stuff, and yeah. And then everybody keeps on fighting. Like, this is just like, you know, a way for the announcers to put over, Mike Awesome, Kanyon. The man is better than anybody, and the former king of Extreme. And Chavo Guerrero, will he get his revenge at Alex Wright at Bound for Glory? Contact your local cable provider. 82, good stuff, as Sydal celebrates. And then we cut backstage, where Jeremy Rash has caught up with Eddy Guerrero and Austin Aries, and basically, you know, why is Eddie chosen Austin's partner? And he's like, Holmes, here's the truth. I looked around the entire Nitro roster, and I either saw people involved in their own BS, or people who didn't rise to the level to team with Eddy Guerrero. One man shone through. A man who showed he knew what it took to bounce to the top, to taste gold. And a man who needed a little bit of advice, a little bit of mentoring, a little bit of Guerrero family values, to be reminded of how to get to the top in this business. So let's say this man, Austin Aries, he's young, he's hungry, and he knows this is not a happy-go-lucky place. This is not a daycare. This is not a high school party. This is professional wrestling. And Austin Aries steps in and says, you're damn right. You see, Double A is here. Kick ass, take names, and Heart Legacy. You can have all the screaming girls behind you. You can have all the idiots in the crowd behind you. You can have all the internet beside you, because I got the most important backup. The greatest wrestler in the world, Eddy Guerrero. And at Bound for Glory, that it's going to be our glory that's won. And you're just going to be bound for irrelevance. So fun promo, 74, not bad considering I actually rated Austin. Again, putting over the big tag match for the pay-per-view. And then we have a backstage segment where we have Raven, Morningstar, Macias, and Morgan. And okay, so I eventually set up the tag match for this week because I thought Morningstar would be ready. He's not, so we're just pretending that didn't matter, and the Dirt Sheets will be upset about it, but it'll just happen after the pay-per-view. Anyway, Raven, is backstage with the Nest, and he basically says, we've been waiting since Halloween Havoc to make our statement, and we have to wait 1 week more. Tolan, Lepend, you don't realize what you're walking into. You're not walking into a simple tag match. You're walking into a horror show. You're walking into a clockwork house of destruction. You're walking into your end. You see, you can have your fun with your former manager. You can have fun with their tag teams. You're going to face off against the best tag team in the business right now. They've been gone for a while, but they destroyed everybody who going against them. Top tier tag teams, thrown together tag teams, legends, all of them fell. And they only lost because of the own incompetence of their former leader. So next week, you have asked for your own end. And it will be given to you, happily. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. And basically, Morgan is, with Macias, maybe on his lap, because, And then Morningstar's, sort of staring down at Raven the whole time. And there we go, 85, good stuff. And then we have basically what's on, openly set up as a, tune-up match for Brother Ray. As he gets this gets a 70 as Brother Ray kills, Aikido Adak in 4 minutes with a full Nelson Bomb. Adak gets a little bwant, bit of offense in just because, he's, slightly higher on the Cruiserweight, card. And he's, honestly, a little more, probably Brother Ray would want Hidaka to like throw some kicks at him before like taking over and getting a pulse victory. Again, no need to like really describe this match. It is what you think it is. 4 minutes, he goes over, Brother Ray gets an 88, Hidaka gets a 61, and then post-match, Brother Ray takes the mic and says this. Palumbo. Chuck. Can I call you Chuck? Charles? Well, you're in charge right now because you're WC World Champion. But here's the reality, Palumbo. These are your last days. Embrace them. Have comfort with them. Be happy about it. Because yes, nobody will ever say you weren't the world champion again. But then they'll look up and be like, oh wow, that was short. That was almost nothing. And what they'll see is you got your ass kicked and your title taken away from you by Brother Ray. Part of the best tag team in pro wrestling history, and now a man rising to where he belongs. You see, Palumbo, I've fought all over. Japan. Little arenas and bars you've never heard of. And in big arenas down south, around the world. And this is my moment now. I've done what I needed to do. I've been in the bright lights up north, and I came here on my own to prove myself. That I'm a street survivor, that I'm a fighter, and I'm the baddest beep in the ring today. Do you think I'm going to stand down and let you beat me? Or hell, Paul London, nothing personal, but if you get in my way, you'll get your ass kicked too. Because tonight's about ending Sunday is about ending one era and beginning a new one. You see, after Sunday, nobody will be talking about tables. Nobody will be talking about King of the Streams. Nobody will be talking about even my brother Devon, when they talk about Brother Ray. They'll be talking about a world champion. Then Q Palumbo's music as the up top ramp. And he said, that's a nice story, Ray, but let's be honest. Deep down, we know that's just a story. What's going to happen is pretty simple. You're going to walk in full of vigor, hyped up with the crowd behind you. You're going to fight. You might even bring a table. You might bring some chairs. Hell, you might even go for my title. What's going to happen is what's going to happen to everybody else. Kick, up in the air, boom, full throttle on your ass. Because I am the world champion for a reason. Because I've battled through the top. I took this belt when everybody assumed one fairy tale had already started. And guess what, Brother Ray? Your fairy tale, even if it's a little darker, isn't going to start at all. I'm going to walk out of Brown for Glory, the world champion, and walk in against Starcade, against whomever, and walk out a world champion there. Because this is my ring now. This is my company now. I'm not just the leader of the revolution. I am the leader of WCW. Do the stare down, do the announcers putting over the main event, and there we go. 95. Good stuff. And then Maverick Chance is cool. Look at him doing flying. Look at him doing skydiving. Look at him doing BMX racing. Look at him doing skateboarding. He's cool. He's young. It's 2005. Yeah. I don't know. 28 because, like, again, getting him over. And then we have our big tag match. And honestly, this would be a match that the internet of the time would hate because look at these 4 people involved. But, you know, I mean, it is a basic, be honest, this is a very basic US Pro style match. Like, O'Hare gets to throw people around. Like, he gets to look strong at the beginning. Jindrak gets to, like, you know, do a little more natural born thorough fighting. Jarrett gets to do his Jeff Jarrett heel stick. Anderson gets to do his own fighting. But eventually things break down. And what happens is pretty simple. Jarrett, like, hits O'Hare from behind on the outside. You know, basically knocks him down. That allows Anderson to get distracted, which allows Jindrak to grab the TV title as the referee tries to get hold of what Jarrett is doing. And wham, TV title to the skull. 1, 2, 3. Jindrak has defeated the television champion with some help. As gets an 84. O'Hare gets an 82. Anderson gets an 81. Jeff Jarrett gets an 88. Jesus Christ. And Jindrak gets a 72. Fun stuff. And the heels celebrate, making title belt motions as this gets a 71. Oh yeah, I guess this should be official also. Okay, it is official. Was there a match I didn't make that was official? Hold on. Oh, I guess I never actually made this official, so here we go. O'Hare versus Jeff Jarrett. I swore I made this match. But I guess not. Okay, interesting. And then we cut backstage, where, you know, Chavo's getting iced up after the match, and Tricia comes into this. Look, man, I know I got that big back right. And if you need any back at all, just say the word. Because I don't know if I got you a title match because I'm defending against Wright, and they haven't got anybody booked against me. But if you want to, you know, have me back as man, I'll be ready. The truth will be beside you, making sure Wright doesn't do anything effed up. And then we hear from basically like from off camera, no, I will be his backup. And in comes Tajiri as he's back after basically getting, you know, DDT to Concussionville at the last pay-per-view. So Tajiri will be backing up Chavo Guerrero at Bound for Glory as this gets a 70. Good stuff. Then we get our Revolution recap focusing on Nikita Kalt. What? There are women on that show? 49 because anyway. Oof. Okay, let's see here. This only got an 83, which I'm kind of, let's see here. Was there anything that hurt this? Okay, lack of heat. Okay, Scott, okay. Here's a sort of spoiler. There is going to be an announcing shakeup after the Starcade. But yeah, I mean, this is the exact sort of fun match you'd expect. Like, these are just all three guys going all out. Like, Jeff Hardy flying around in planchas, hitting like his big leg drops. Harris doing his brawling, clotheslines, doing some big power moves on everybody because he's a little bit bigger. Kaz kicking the crap out of people. And we sort of get like an announcement before the match that all the other tag members have been like banned from ringside. So we get, you know, Kaz, Hardy flying to the outside on Kaz, Harris trying to take advantage, you know, and we sort of like get some spots that sort of like preview the match. So like Kaz hits the kick of death on Jeff Hardy, Harris makes a save. Later on, Harris hits the catatonic on Jeff, Kaz makes a save. Later on, then near the end, Jeff Hardy actually nails Kaz with a Swanton Bomb, but Harris, you know, hits a big elbow on, comes in, knocks Hardy over, tosses him to the outside. Kaz gets up, like he goes for a wild kick. Harris ducks it, hits the catatonic, 1, 2, 3, and gets the victory here on Nitro. So this gets an 83. Kaz gets a 94. Harris gets a 77. Jeff Hardy gets a 92. And yeah, show ends with A&W celebrating as the announcers put over this happens. A&W will defend their tag titles successfully as this gets a 69. Okay, so we had the two good segments, but actually no great matches. I'm going to guess 80, 84. 89. Again. Gotta love great promo segments. Gotta love them. Anyway, moving on. Like, yeah. So again, solid sort of like year-end show there. I mean, not year-end, but go home show. Like, you know, putting over our big angles, big matches. We got Revolution still to sort of like, you know, heat up those matches. Including, you know, Paul London. I wonder what the internet would think. Like, I wonder if the internet would think I'm just like throwing Paul London there as a like, you know, and as a guy to obviously do the job, which, hey, maybe he will, maybe he won't, you know? I mean, Paul London and AJ Styles is the main event. Hell, Paul London and Kidman, you know? Who knows what'll happen? Yeah, okay, so. I'll go over Raw in a second because of the pay-per-view. But, okay, Awesome's injured. Macias. She is a woman. He will wrestle other women. She's not going to wrestle you, okay? Also, Kaz, I mean, hey, getting behind. Good stuff. Before we go over Raw, let me just actually check out that injury, medical-wise. Yeah, so Morningstar, I thought he had another week, but anyway. Mike Awesome, okay, so he just has a broken nose, but it'll be fine before the pay-per-view. Great. No matches will be announced on the Go Home show for Revolution, so I can go over that real quick. But before we go, yeah, okay. So, as a reminder of our pay-per-view lineup, we have, in the main event, of course, as soon as I can find it, we have Paul London versus Brother Ray versus Chip Combo for your WCW World Championship. We have the big tag team title match as AMW defend the titles against MKO and the Hardy Boys. We have Bill Goldberg versus Titus Tomko. We have for the cold shot, AJ Styles versus Booker T versus Monty Brown versus Billy Kidman. Versus Booker, yeah, AJ Styles versus Booker versus Monty Brown versus Billy Kidman. And former friends, former tag partners destroy each other's acts. Race takes on Chavo Guerrero Jr. We have, of course, the big tag match announced basically tonight as Eddy teams up with Austin Aries to take on Hart Legacy. We have Kanyon versus Mike Awesome. We have the big women's title match as Tricia Skye defends against Nikita Kalt. Tracy Roberts defends the Cruiserweight Championship against Romeo Rossi. And a huge match, RVD takes on Wright Jr. as from our friends collide. Schneider takes on Jarrett. In the match, in the basically street fight in a club, Social Team take on Lizzy Dumas and Lefty James of Captivation for women's tag titles. And of course, the TV title match of Benjamin versus Lance versus Jindrak versus Anderson. And yeah, that's a show, I think. Yeah, unless I'm completely blanking on something else I need to book. So yeah, as a quick thing, we'll just go through what WWE did for Survivor Series and Raw, because that's simpler than going back for SmackDown. So, Survivor Series was a show. Like, honestly, the main event's one of those main events that I can't even figure out. So, we had the It Crowd of Mark Henry, Val Venus, and Crash Holiday defeat Grandmaster Sexy, and the Sex Machines of Viscera and Rico Constantino. So, the game put them together as a team. It was a dumb team, but, like, this is a fun little name. And we can pretend it was a Survivor Series match. Then we had Jackie and Ivory defeating Shaniqua and Veronica Vane. Solid stuff, 71. Then we had in a 4-way for the women's title, La Angela Oscura defeating Chantel Fierce, Molly Holly, and Amber Jeans to retain the women's title in a 78. Molly sort of like carried that one. Then a big match, the APA defeated TNA and the Outcast to win the tag titles. So basically what happened here is, if you remember a bit back, JBL was basically turned face by going after Kurt Angle over America. Then he wasn't really pushed after that by the game. Ron Simmons, of course, his WCW contract ran out. He was eventually re-signed by the WWE. So they reteamed, and this is sort of a nostalgia run, I guess. So JBL will never get his long, big run that he got in real life, which, you know, depends on what you like or don't like, will be a positive or negative for you. Then we had Big Show killing Rick Steiner. Sure. Then we had DX 2.0, Shawn Michaels and Skyfall Caleb Lyon, DDP and Scott Steiner by DQ. Sure. Undertaker killed Steven Richards in a 90 in a match he'll make a YouTube video out of in 20 years. Real Regal defeated Kane. So the game turned Kane face, and Regal is already heel, so I don't know. I'll figure out something with that. Then we had Batista defeat Christian to retain the IC title. Again, the game's pushing him correctly. Good for him. Kurt Angle defeat Vampiro. Yes, I don't know. Then we had Edge defeating Chris Jericho in a ladder match to retain the WWF World Championship. Good match. I mean, we got 100. Of course it did. And then we had the wackiest Survivor Series match I can imagine. So we had Brock Lesnar. Okay, so that's the babyface. We had Brock Lesnar, Rikishi, Devin Dubois, and Street Suburbs, which is, remember, Homicide and Spanky, defeat Mick Foley, Adam Jacobs, Billy, and the Little Fellas, which in this case is Funaki and Spike as heels. Like, usually I can at least figure out a way to book the heel, like the storyline for this, but yeah, this is just the game being the game. Anyway, they did follow that up with Raw, which had your new heroines of Taylor Matheny and Jillian Hall defeat Jamie Keys and Elizabeth Love. We had an Edge interview, we had a Molly Holly interview, Rick Steiner defeated Ron Waterman in a very bad match. We had Crowbar, who was signed recently by WWE and brought in, and the Outcast defeated Thrasher, Sandman, and Maven. That's sure a 6-man. We had Lion and Punk defeated Sexy and Viscera in a cage match. Again, sure. I guess they're a quasi-stable now. Vampiro defeated Charlie Haas. Defeated Crash Holly in a ladder match. And then the main event, Angle Edge defeated Jericho and Big Show for like the 9th time in a row. Good show. So they got a 2.95. We got a 2.72. So yeah, fun stuff. But I'll be back in just a moment with Revolution. And welcome everybody to Revolution live from Long Beach Arena in Long Beach, California. A couple days out from Bound for Glory. And we start with the announcers putting over a big 6-man main event of Booker T, AJ Styles, and Shelton Benjamin versus Lance Storm, Monty Brown, and Kidman. But oh my god, the women are already fighting, and the Texas Tag Team Tornado match is going already. So let's get 72. We're going to do the actual match, which again, these women are just fighting all over. We got ODB brawling with Gail Kim fighting against her. We got Alli Danger getting some cane shots in on ODB. ODB fighting back, hitting like some big moves on Alli Danger for a near fall. Johnny Laurer coming in on Gail Kim, and they brawl into the ring, and then out of the ring, and then up the ramp. We go into the back where they're brawling around the ring. We get some cameos from various members of the roster. somebody gets thrown over the catering table. Back in the ring, ODB and Alli Danger are going after each other still. Alli Danger gets a near fall after a big gut wrench suplex. ODB kicks out, and the fight continues. Eventually, Gail Kim and Joanie Laurer are back in the ring. Joanie attacks Alli Danger. She's going for a big move on ODB. She goes for the powerbomb on Alli Danger, but Gail Kim is ready, and she actually hits a top rope head scissors on Joanie Laurer for a near fall. She goes up top. She goes for the eat defeat, but ODB actually shakes the ropes. ODB hits her with a slam off the top rope for a near fall, but the fight continues. And it continues for another couple minutes. Eventually, Gail Kim and Joanie Laurer are battling, and they go back out to the outside of the ring. There's almost a table spot, but Gail Kim sort of blocks the powerbomb, with a sort of DDT onto the floor. But she comes in to go after ODB, but actually ODB gets out of the way of a charge. Gail Kim runs in Alli Danger. ODB throws Gail Kim out of the ring. Joanie Laurer recovers, stops Gail Kim from coming in as they fight up to the top. But as that's happening, ODB hits her, it's a big, what her finisher is, on Alli Danger. 1, 2, 3. The babyface get the big win here on Revolution, as this gets a 69. Nice. Alli Danger gets a 66. Gail Kim gets a 73. ODB gets a 63. Joanie Laurer gets a 73. Fun stuff. And then we brawl up to the top. And then Gail Kim and Joanie Laurer are still brawling and fighting. Joanie Laurer gets the advantage. Kick, wham, powerbomb off the stage by Gail Kim onto a bunch of equipment that sparks and makes noise, which gives us a 76. Fun stuff. So seems like the tag feud is over, but the singles feud is not over. We'll just have to see about that. Again, this gets a 76. Fun stuff as we move forward here on Revolution. And we cut backstage. We have the members of the six-man tag later tonight. Former WCW World Champion Billy Kidman, Lance Storm, and Monty Brown, of course, with Alli Danger. Not Alli Danger, April Hunter. And, basically, we have Monty pacing back and forth. And, Kim sort of says, come on, Monty, calm down. Got this match later on. But don't worry, got to triumvirate backing you down. And, Monty sort of laughs. I'm not nervous. I'm just ready to pounce somebody and destroy somebody. And make sure I win that call shot at Starrcade and dominate WCW or myself. I want to take that type of call shot from AJ Styles at Bound for Glory. And tonight's just an appetizer. Kim's sort of wait. Remember the main course, because tonight's a big match. But at Bound for Glory, you're gonna have to get through me if you want the chance of that called shot. And Buddy Brown says, "Oh yeah, I remember. Just remember, tonight we're fighting together. But at Bound for Glory, I will pounce you right through the ring if it means winning that called shot." And Storm plays peacemaker and is okay, look, that's fine. You guys can fight, but tonight we're fighting together to make an impact. And Ryan Shelton Benjamin, that he doesn't belong in the 4-way for the TV title at Bound for Glory. And remind AJ Styles, he's nothing but a punk who's not worthy of being the man getting that Starrcade title shot. And, April interjects about something. Gibbons, says something back to her innuendo-wise. And, Monty Brown, says that I got no issues taking Booker and Shelton to Stern Gate, but AJ Styles is my focus. That Punk is holding on to my called shot. And, Storm says something keeping his eyes on the prize. Monty says, I got my eyes on the prize. You better not get in my way. And, Kidman's doesn't matter if you trust me. Trust is what got me to the top. And Bound for Glory, it'll happen again. And when he says something, be every man for himself. And everybody agrees to get work together tonight. But there's still some tension as we move on. And this gets a 95. Good stuff. And then we have an interesting segment as basically Jonathan Toro comes out to the ring and says, I need to rebuild my empire. But Rome was built in a day, and neither will my new Roman empire, but it will begin tonight as I take on anybody. So anybody who wants to come out here, down here for a fight, that seems to be a trigger as Keith Walker comes down, still pissed, still without Tori Wilson, and he just goes right after Jonathan Toro, and it seems like we got a match that's on. As Keith Walker still seems upset about, Keenan Sharp making Tori Wilson take a big bump. And here we go. This gets a 65. Then we have the actual match between these two men. And, Jonathan Toro gets his shots in. But like this is our like not quite a domination by Keith Walker, but Keith Walker like taking advantage. Like Toro gets a couple shots in and gets enough advantage to a few big suplexes, eventually maybe go for the rolling elbow. But Walker just like but ducks under it and just like goes for the beatdown more. You have suplexes, takedowns, big boots, knee shots. And eventually like Keith Walker takes Jonathan Toro down and just goes, just hits a the big he hits him with a big sort of like sit down power bomb, hits him with the big like forearm shots, club hammer shots to the head, and eventually just pins Jonathan Toro 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring. This gets a 63. Keith Walker gets a 49. Toro gets a 61, and I've got plans for Toro, but they're probably not happening until the end, beginning of the new year. Then after the match, Keith Walker takes the mic from the ring announcer and says, "Sharp." So there we go, 61. Better because of 1 minute, I guess. And then, I believe that's up next. Yeah, so the announcers will make today then throws to himself in a pre-recorded sit-down interview with number one contender to the Women's World Champion Nikita Kalt. And today asked Kalt about after months of after dominating the tag division with CC Music, if she's ready to move to the singles division to take on Tricia Skye. Kalt says that's a moronic question today. I've got ice in my veins. I've been a women's world champion before, and I'm going to be it again at Bound for Glory when I prove to Tricia Skye that I'm not a stepping stone on her continued path of greatness. I'm going to be the ice wall in her way. And then Tenay asks how you're preparing for the match, and basically Kalt says for too long Tricia Skye has been putting around as the face of the women's division, but what has she really accomplished? Beating opponents set up to make her look good. I'm a real competitor today. I train, I fight, and I dominate. I've done it as a tag team. I've done it for years over in Europe, not in front of a bunch of adoring fans, but in front of small crowds who appreciate my talent. Today, Fire, basically pushes back, says, just fought some of the best in the world. And he's like, well, she hasn't faced me yet. And when she does, she realized she'll be in the shallow end of the pool for this whole time. I'm ruthless. I'm aggressive. I'm efficient. In this business, being compassionate is a liability. And I'm not in the business of being a liability to anybody or anyone. Tricia, he asked her if, any pressure taking on a top tier star like Tricia Skye. Kalt says, something about, some German phrase about being pressures for the weak. She's all about high stakes situations. So, other Fraulines may crumble and falter, but I shine. It'll just be another platform to prove why I am the epitome of women's wrestling in WCW. And that I fight to win. Today finishes up, says, what's, if you win and become women's world champion, what's the message you're sending to the women's WCW women's division? When I win, not if. The message is going to be pretty clear. This is a new era, an age of competition, an age of dominance, an age where if you step in the ring with me, you will face the cold, hard truth that you are nothing but inferior. There we go. 91. Big promo, setting up the match with, continuing to push the match with Tricia Skye at Bound for Glory. And then we have the other, like his last week, it was Lexi James versus Annie Vidal. This week we got Nikki Ratcliffe, one half Social Scene, taking on one half Captivation, Lizzy Dumas, and it's a back and forth match. And it looks like, Lizzy Dumas has the advantage early. Nikki Ratcliffe fights back with a few big moves. Lizzy Dumas eventually, fires back with some cheating. And, it looks like, there's a rough bump, and, Ratcliffe has the advantage back. And Lexi James comes in to help her tag team partner, but Nikki Ratcliffe gets out of the way. They nail each other, Lexi and Lizzy, and then Ratcliffe hits a big finishing move to get the big pinfall victory over Lizzy Dumas here on Revolution, as just push the big dance floor, come as you are tag team brawl at Revolution. I'll figure out a better name by the pay-per-view. So this gets to 71. Nikki Ratcliffe gets to 71. Lizzy Dumas gets to 67. Again, Ratcliffe is probably helped out by the fact we're in the Southwest. So fun stuff. And then the babyfaces celebrate as the youngsters put over, the match at the pay-per-view as it's A67. Fun stuff. Then we're getting a reprise of that interview segment as Mike Tenay sits down with Tricia Skye, and Tenay asks her about Nikita's comment about her title reign, and she says, Mike, everybody can have their opinion. The difference between Nikita and me, I let my actions speak in the ring for myself. The reality is, I've gotten that ring against the toughest competition in the world, and I came to WCW because I saw it was the best women's division on the planet, and I want to make it to be best, well known among everybody as a place for women's wrestling here in professional wrestling. And what's the difference between Nikita and other competitors? The rarity is she's not that much different deep down. Yeah, she has, she's technically skilled, of course, and she's a little bit more ice cold than others who run really hot, but she's intense and she's efficient. But she can do all she wants to be focused only on winning, but that may be her downfall as much as it may be her advantage. It says if there's any other pressure going in the Starrcade with a big match at Bound for Glory, there's always pressure. But that's what I live for, and that's why I came here to WCW, was for the pressure of facing the greatest competition in the world and proving that I'm just not a pretty face. I'm the best women's wrestler in the world. Because you see, I haven't been in a shallow end of the pool. I faced the toughest woman in this industry. And if that's when he calls it shallow end, then hell, she's in for a wake-up call when she dives into the deep end with me. Then, ask if she wins against Tricia, what's next for her going into Starrcade. And Tricia, Tricia says the same thing. Same thing as always, Mike. Taking on everybody who wants a shot at this belt. I want to prove I'm the best women's wrestler in the world. And the only way to do that is get in the ring and prove to everybody that I'm the best and nobody can stop me. And then, basically Mike says goodbye, and, Tricia says thank you. And Nikita, this is one last reminder to you and everybody else who's getting a watch. At Bound for Glory, the sky's the limit for what we're going to do there in the ring. So 98, good promo. Again, setting things up, building up the big pay-per-view match. And then we have a Badass Exam, which gets a free 100. Thank you. Thank you mainly, I guess, Booker T and AJ Styles. Jesus Christ, these guys are good. Booker, AJ, and Shelton are already, and Booker's like, basically, listen up. Tonight's is not about Bound for Glory. It's about making a statement we ain't to be messed with. Those suckers over on the other side of the ring have tried to think they can take us out in all sorts of ways, but they're going to get a message tonight, aren't they? And AJ's like, exactly. Tonight we set the stage for Bound for Glory. And then at Bound for Glory, I'm going to keep my called shot and stay. Then I'm going to do the World Championship. Shelton, you're going to take the TV title. And Booker, well, nothing personal, man. But hey, I get it. I respect you. But let me get one thing straight. I'm not going to do anything dirty tonight. I'm not going to take advantage. But in that ring at Bound for Glory, I'm going to do whatever I need to become the winner of the match and get that title shot at Starrcade to become a seven-time WCW World Champion come Starrcade. Can you dig that? And Shelton again plays a little bit of peacemaker and says, look, man, we both want what we want. I want to get in that ring, become TV champion, and, White lands from a smug grin about attacking me off his face. But you guys got to work together because Kidman, Monty Brown, they're two tough competitors. They're two of the best in the world, and they will take us out if we aren't ready. And, AJ Styles says, I'm not looking over at anybody, but that called shot is my ticket to the top, and I'm not letting it go easily. And Booker's like, I'm not expecting you to let go of it easily, but just because you don't want to let go doesn't mean you will. But tonight, Sucka, let's get in that ring and kick some ass of some jackasses tonight. And everybody agrees. They do a quick little fist bump, and we're off. And this gets and then Booker T basically says, tonight, Kidman, Storm, Monty, you're facing three of the best in the world today. AJ Styles, Shelton Benjamin, and Booker T. Can you dig that sucker? And he finishes off, and this gets 100. Good stuff. And then we have a very interesting, wow, that actually got really good. Okay. So, Paul London, comes down to the ring to a big pop, and he says, just a few days, is the biggest match of my life. And, you know, people can claim other matches were really big, but here's reality. It's a world title match in the main event of a pay-per-view. I could walk into Starrcade as a WCW World Champion. A triple threat match for the title. But let's also be honest here. Everybody's kind of forgot about you. Yeah, they were like, yay, you won the Fatal 4-Way, but then, you know, it was basically a sideshow. Even last week, people seemed to more care about RVD and Ray Jr. fighting, which I understand, than me going after Chuck Palumbo. But I get it. I'm the underdog in this fight. Chuck Palumbo, he's the reigning champion. Brother Ray, he's a hardcore survivor. Me, I'm the third wheel, the odd man out. The one people take to expect the pin and move on. But what I say to everybody out there is expect the unexpected. I thrive on being the underdog. I've never really had an advantage in WWE since I debuted, but I've crawled and got my way to U.S. championships, big matches, main events. I'm going to prove everybody wrong, and Bound for Glory, I'm going to... And then Jamie Mole's music hits to a confused but big like mixed pop, as Noble's not been seen since losing to Keith Walker a few months ago. And, you know, London's just like starting up like, what the hell do you want him? And, you know, says, miss me? You see, I've been out for a couple months, but they're so desperate that your main event's Paul London. Come on, I kicked your ass before, son. And I can do it again. And London's like, Jamie, welcome back, I guess. Why the hell are you out here? And, you know, Jamie's like, well, you see, I got here. I surveyed the situation and realized what I need to do was make a statement. And what better way was to shock everybody by making a man who's going to be the main event Bound for Glory tap the hell out right in the middle of that damn ring. And, you know, Jamie continues, you know, so what do you say? You want to run tonight, or are you too worried about your world title shot? About your body and your skills? You don't want to be embarrassed just a few days out. Are you actually man enough to face me, London? Or are you just a little yellow dog? Pauline's like, yellow? Okay, whatever. Fine. Come down the ring, Nable. You want a match? Let's do this. So there you go. 94, good stuff. And then we have a really good match, which honestly could have been really a 95 if we would have like gone over 15 minutes. But like, yeah, this is a very, very good, like high impact, like all action match, as Noble like throws around suplexes, tries to lock London holds, but London either slips out or like, you know, sort of reverses it into his own holds. London, you know, does some big moves, you know, hits a drop salt, hits a, you know, springboard blockbuster, a side moonsault, dive to the outside, but Noble does his brawling to take advantage. You know, back and forth match. Noble hits a big series of suplexes, goes for the trailer hitch, but London gets to the ropes. Noble goes for a, you know, Noble continues on the attack, goes for his guillotine choke, but London avoids it. Eventually, Noble actually goes up top for himself. Actually, London goes up top, Noble like blocks it, and Noble goes for a top rope DDT, but London is ready for it and blocks it, pushes Noble off, hits a top Rana from the top onto London, and onto Noble, hits a few big moves, you know, super kick, backbreakers, you know, and then finally goes up top and hits the London calling on Jamie Noble to pick up the pinfall victory here on Revolution, which gets us a 90. Paulina gets a 92, Jamie Noble gets a 72. Really good stuff. And then post-match, as London's celebrating, by God, I checked Palumbo. And then, you know, Palumbo comes out and attacks Paulin from behind and is, you know, going for the beatdown. And, you know, he looks like he's about to hit the full throttle when out of nowhere, Brother Ray comes out of the crowd and goes after Chuck Palumbo, and the brawl is on. You know, Palumbo and Brother Ray fight. Palumbo eventually, like, absconds and, you know, heads to the back, pointing at Brother Ray. They face off. You know, Paul London slowly gets up, and, you know, Brother Ray, you know, sort of taps, Paul London on the shoulder, and as, you know, Paul London turns around, Brother Ray picks him up, Brother Ray bomb, and, you know, basically says, you know, let's cut this, you know, heard by the mic on the camera, nothing personal, kid, but triple threat match, you don't trust anybody. And, you know, mixed pot for that but, you know, gotta remember Paul London's babyface on the show, and this gets 100. Really good stuff, really building as one last moment before the pay-per-view for this big triple threat match at the pay-per-view. And then we have our Nitro recap focusing on the triple threat match with Jeff Hardy, Kaz, and Chris Harris. This gets a 70. And then we have our big main event, And this is just your sort of like classic 6-man before the pay-per-view. Everybody gets their spots in. Kidman goes after Styles. They fight back and forth. Storm and Shelton have a technical battle. Booker T and Monty Brown brawl a bit. Monty goes after AJ Styles. Booker T and Billy Kidman have a back and forth. Going back to their world title match earlier this year. Storm hits a big super kick on Shelton for a near fall. AJ Helms and Storm, AJ's actually hits the Styles Clash on Monty Brown, but Monty Brown kicks out before 3. Big brawl. Eventually, Booker and Kidman are in the ring, and Booker goes low on Booker, of course, and Kidman nails Booker with the Kid Crusher. 1, 2, 3. Big victory, and the announcers put over. If that happens at Bound for Glory, AJ Styles would have lost his called shot without even being involved in the finish, as this gets a 92. AJ Styles gets a 94. Shelton Benjamin gets a friggin' 69. Booker gets a 78. Lance Storm gets an 84. Kidman gets a 93. And Monty Brown gets an 86. Post-match, the fight just continues as the announcers put over. Bound for Glory. One of these men will walk out with his arcade title shot while AJ Styles survive. And then you go basically over the rest of the show as the officials try to break them apart. And this gets a 93. And overall, the show itself gets us a 93. Good stuff. So yeah, really good, basically set up show for the pay-per-view. Hey, it's Mimi Shimoya. But yeah, really solid stuff. Sort of build up. Sort of like, I don't say like the big angle for the world title match was on Nitro, but it kind of was. And this was just a reminder: Paul London's involved. Tag titles, wasn't getting better than the main event of Nitro. Women's title match being built up and all that good stuff. But everyone went over the card for the pay-per-view, of course. Steve Kern, okay, fine, you can be a pro agent for them. Revolution was Revolution. So to review also what then WWE did for SmackDown, we had this weird Kane, Steiner, Michaels. Okay, sure. I remember Michaels is a heel. Benoit and Taker had a face-to-face. Road Warrior Animal defeat Chains. Okay, sure. Then we had Jackie Gata win back the women's title over La Angel Obscura and Cherry Slice. Hopefully, Jackie pinned Cherry Slice. But solid match, actually. 63, not bad. Rikishi and Street Suburbs team up to take on the It Crowd. It Crowd are really just a mid-card, weird feud. Oh, and this was a big thing. So, I imagine, Regal, wanted to make an Open Child, even though he's a babyface. And out comes... Dun, 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 but not really that music yet. John Cena making his SmackDown debut. And he actually does pretty decent, getting a 59, but he loses William Regal. This gets an 87. And hopefully, for WWE, in, 20 years, they can show this match, as a big thing. Billy Gunn take on Rico Constantino. Taker defeated Christian in a tables match, sure. And Shawn Michaels defeated Steiner and Kane in a 3-way. Let's see, who was the... Okay, yeah, Steiner, unfortunately, has sort of hit his limit. So good stuff, 87, good for show for them. Then if we go to our dev territory. So I paused my recording and I don't know when I came back. So this is awkward because I don't know what, I remembered one time when I paused it, but I don't know if there was another time when I paused it. So I am now very, very, very shit. So okay, I'm going to go over Revolution just in case I paused it during the show. So Mike today had a interview with Tricia Skye, basically putting the show over. Paul London then came out for a promo. He was interrupted by the returning Jamie Noble. They had a match. Paul London then defeated Jamie Noble in a really good match in a 90. Palumbo came out and attacked Paul London. They had a beatdown. Brother Ray shockingly came in, even though he doesn't work on Revolution. Paul London chased Palumbo away. Paul London got up, and then Paul London nailed London with a Brother Ray bomb. He's telling me that's personal, just business. Then we had the main event where, the basic six-man tag at 92, and Kidman pinned Booker T, and then we had the fight. And now, again, I don't know, oh god. So, I guess, only thing of note you need to know is on SmackDown for the WWE, they finally brought up John Cena, and Cena made his return, made his debut taking on Roman Regal. I guess he's the Kurt Angle equivalent here. And then we had Taker versus Christian, and a main event Michaels versus Steiner and Kane, where Steiner and Kane seem to be on the downgrade of being too old. Let's see here. I'm just trying to think of anything that you guys... oh, God. Now I don't want to go. Okay, there's really nothing of note in either our dev feds. I like going over it, but unfortunately, I didn't realize I hit the pause button. This is really dumb. Got it. Again, hey, that's why you guys, watch, because even though I've done 18 million videos, I still make dumb mistakes like this. So the only other sort of note in the news, I guess, was Jushin Liger was on a random Australian show. Fergal Devitt is getting 60s in Ireland already. And yeah, nothing really happened on the OVW, HWA shows. And same thing with my dev feds. Nothing really to show you guys that's that important. I guess ROH had Wave of Mutilation. Remember, they're Ring of Violence now. Their main event was Joel Maxwell and Everything Red defeated Chino and Cloudy for the ROH World Tag Titles, and Dave Mysterio defeating Trent Acid for the ROH Pure title. And then the other random stuff, including Mistress Belmont versus Daisy Hayes. Again, I'm convinced that they accidentally put the women's title as active, and yeah, okay. Well, that was all from last week that I already showed you guys. See, now I'm just getting confused and showing you guys stuff from last week. Okay, man. Okay, so again, sorry if I paused it and then you guys lost the last bit of Revolution. But anyway, that's it for now. We got Bound for Glory coming up. Next big pay-per-view, leading into Starrcade. Lots of big matches as I went over earlier. But that's for now. So if you enjoyed this, go to comment below. Especially comment on when I hit pause and totally screw things up. Again, sorry about that. But again, put your other comments in below. And and subscribe to our channel for plenty of our TEW 2020 content. Mostly this at the moment, even though new month is coming up, so who knows. But that's now. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Talk to you later, and adios.